have a few questions. One of them was mentioned several times was about accessibility. And I guess I would just like a little bit of clarity about what that looks like, not only for visitors, which is incredibly important, but also for MPs. This is something that I'm personally really passionate about, because when spaces are accessible, we see more faces around the table that we may not see traditionally. So I'm just wondering if you could talk a little bit about sort of focusing on how are we making this more accessible for MPs. You spoke about having 2 floors for the lobbies. I think it's something to think about very carefully, that we don't send, people who have a disability somewhere else to get to the same place as everyone else. And I also think of walking into the MP's door in Center Block, and there's the stairs that you go up, and I really enjoy that experience, but I also think it's important that we look at that in terms of accessibility. So if you could just clarify for me just about how are we making these spaces more accessible for MPs to be able to do their work regardless of their ability.
Thank you very much for the question, Madam Chair, and I'll ask Ms. Garrett to add details again, just at a high level to begin with. So we're working closely with an accessibility advisory group on the designs, and I can come back to the kind of the public experience, but the question was mostly around parliamentarians. One important element is that with the Parliament Welcome Centre, the Centre Block, West Block, and East Block will be interconnected with essentially a parliamentary promenade, which will really shift these 3 buildings to become one integrated complex with a universal accessible pathway interconnecting the 3 buildings. Universal accessibility from the exterior, a key part of this as well, and really trying to ensure that the pathways are the same pathways for all people, and that the same means of moving throughout the building is the same for all people. So there's been a tremendous amount of study around the placement of elevators, for example, the sizing of elevators to ensure that it's a very inclusive experience, as well as the placement and sizing and approach with washroom facilities as well. So it's a very inclusive approach beyond pure just mobility issues, but I'll pass it over to Ms. Garrett to add details.
I don't want to interrupt, but through you, Madam Chair, just really important for me to understand that the lobbies. So you're going to have the lobbies on 2 floors, and that's integral to our work. I just want to say that in the current space that we're in the West Block, there's stairs to go up if you want to go in the back way, and so it concerns me a little bit. So that's another component.
I'll start with that and broaden out. Okay, so there has been a lot of focused work done, and there will be a lot of discussion, I think, upcoming with the House of Commons working group on this very subject, given the importance of accessibility to the program. And when I talk about accessibility at this point in the schematic design process, we're really focused on mobility, but it really is going to be an inclusive approach that will continue to evolve. But we want to make sure, first and foremost, the building doesn't get designed in a way that it gets in the way. So there will have to be modifications for the chamber, for seating, to make sure that we have dignified, inclusive seating, and that people can maneuver within the chamber itself, to front to back. In terms of the lobbies, the access from the lobby into the chamber is a key area of interest and study for us on the project to date, and there will be consultations with the working group coming up on that, but there are solutions to get mobility challenged people from the lobby that existed now into the chamber. And in terms of the extension into that 2-level lobby, there will absolutely not only be stairs but elevators within that lobby environment that connect the lobby together, sort of that lower level where you have your food services, where you can meet with somebody, connect up through an elevator or a staircase should you choose to the main traditional lobby, which will function as it always has with the whips and accessible access into the chamber. I don't want to drive your time down. Is that what you're looking for? Would you like me to continue to